Good afternoon, lovely people. How are you all doing today? I hope you're well. I'm well, thank you very much. But I've got to get stuck in with this decluttering. Since the previous decluttering video, there've been a couple of days in my real time have passed. I thought we'd leave a little gap, so if you were doing your books with me, you've had a chance to do it by now, I hope. But yeah, moving on to the wardrobe, the shelving next to it, the underbed trunk. I'm not going to get it all done in one video. And yeah, like I said, it's been a couple of days since I did the books, probably more like 4 or 5 days. How to put it? I'm sort of slightly dreading this, but also looking forward to it. I was thinking about this over the last couple of evenings, you know, those thoughts you have before you go to sleep. So I thought I'm going to make some notes actually, because there's things I want to remember to say and suggest as we go along. But generally I was thinking about this whole sorting out the clothes, and this is going to be especially true when I go to that trunk under the bed, of why does this feel so hard? For me, I think this is going to be the hardest bit of my sorting out, clearing out of all the areas of the flat and all the different aspects of my life. Way harder than the books. And I think I realised what it is, particularly so for the trunk under the bed. To get rid of these things, it's so much of it is about letting go of my former life, my former self. Yeah, these clothes, they represent all sorts of different stages in my life. You know, they're particularly the ones under the bed. We'll come to that another day, but there's lots of frocks and things under there. From once upon a time when I used to be a bit more glamorous. My real glamour days, there's only a trace of it left in the shelf bit next to the hanging space. That might have to come in a second video. There's a tiny little bit of it left, but the real glamour stuff, you know, ball gowns, cocktail dresses, really high glam stuff that I would wear for sort of the after party of a first night of a show or for going to premieres, that sort of thing. They've long since gone. Because I know that those days are long since gone. But even once those days were gone, I still liked to, you know, dress up. I don't mean like over the top, like day dressing. I used to like to wear a frock, a nice pair of heels, bit of slap, get my hair done. I don't mean professionally, you know, just do my hair. So letting go of these now is going to feel hard because it's really letting go of that part of me, and it's also an acknowledgement, and I think this is probably a tough one for all of us, that my body has changed. I mean, it's changed beyond recognition. None of those clothes fit anymore, and they're never going to fit again. When I show you, there's a couple of pieces in here that I'd already hung ready to get ready for selling. I mean, they're tiny. They're so tiny. So yeah, I think that's why this is going to be so hard, is these things, they need to go. They're taking up space. It's daft. Some of them I can sell. I'm hoping that I can sell a lot of it. You know, I've got lovely photographs of me in all these frocks and like I said, the earlier stuff, the real glam stuff. I've got those pictures. Excuse me, I've got press photos and all that kind of stuff. So I've got all the memories. I don't need to hang on to the stuff to keep the memories. But yeah, just bear that in mind for yourself, that I'm going to be really brutally honest as I go through all of this stuff now, that you know, a lot of the stuff, I'm going to be parting this stuff because it's too tight across the bust. That's the one. I used to wear very fitted clothes. I mean, I've always had curves, but everything was proportionally smaller. I don't like that these days. I don't like feeling like constrained in my clothes. I suppose it's because I'm just more rough and tumble these days. But yeah, there's stuff that's like, you know what, it don't fit over my boobs, it's gonna go. I can't bear really tight, I can't bear seeing it on other people either when stuff's really tight across the bust and, you know, buttons are, you know, straining. So yeah, bear that in mind for yourselves if things are going to be tough, that, you know, but I've got some ideas as well. Now, the other thing to say is, and I was thinking about this with the books, I've taken all my books off to charity shops now. There's a few that I'm going to sell. I made sure before I took everything to the charity shop that everything was clean. Some things, you know, there might be a little tea ring stain on the cover, so I've just wiped those off to make sure it's all nice and clean. Anything that you take to a charity shop or a donation hub, we're going to talk about those as well. Please make sure it's clean, and, you know, if buttons have fallen off, pop some buttons back on before you take it along, because people like me go to the charity shop to buy our new clothes. You know, that's where I get all my clothes from now. This is a charity shop find. I don't want to be looking through racks of clothes and they be dirty and ripped and horrid. I want to buy something nice. So yeah, just make sure things are in a good state of repair, and if they're beyond repair, we're going to talk about that too. And the other thing to bear in mind when you're going through your wardrobe, I think, actually let me start getting the shoes out while I'm talking to you, because they're all going to go into the living room, because it's such a tight space here. They're all going to go through there so I can see and sort them properly. Oh, old favourites. Now, I did, at some point last year, I think it was in lockdown at some point, I did go through my shoes already, and I have sold, at that point, all my things that had like sort of 3-4 inch heels, huge heels, like my proper glam shoes, they all went. But, you know, this is definitely worth revisiting, because in the back of my mind, I can already think of a couple of pairs of shoes that I could probably get rid of that are hardly worn, so hopefully again I can sell. Yes, so if you're struggling with this whole thought of the clothes, not because of the whole memories, past, size issues, whatever, think about what your clothes need to do for you, what your different wardrobes need to do. So for example, if you're still working, I mean, it depends what your job is, but if you're still working, the chances are you need a kind of a work wardrobe, you know, your boring black skirt, white shirt, whatever it is that you need to wear for work. So you will need those things. Your scruffy stuff, so this is what I think of as gardening clothes. I have, whoopla, it's a bit of a stretching to the back there, oh my goodness, I've just seen something funny. Yeah, you might have a sort of set of clothes that you think of as your gardening clothes, dog walking clothes, hiking, muddy countryside clothes. And then you might also have sort of formal clothes. So, you know, this sort of stuff you would wear, you know, for a wedding, funeral, a day out at, you know, Henley, or if you're lucky, or, you know, a day at Wimbledon, whatever it is, that sort of slightly more formal wear. So as you're going through things, you can bear those different aspects of your life in mind. You can think, okay, I only need 2 pairs of jeans, or 2 pairs of jeans. I can have a nice smart pair of jeans that I wear if I'm just doing like casual going out, say the cinema or the pub with friends, that sort of thing. And I've got my really, really scruffy beat up jeans that I use for gardening, walking the dog, maybe decorating, cleaning when you're having a big spring clean at home, that sort of thing. But really, otherwise, you know, do you need 10 pairs of jeans when 2 will suffice? I was thinking about this in particular with reference to winter coats at the moment, because it is getting really cold. You know, if you've got 7 winter coats, you don't need 7 winter coats. You can't wear 7 coats all at once. That's one thing. But again, you might want a smart coat that's, if you're commuting to work, you need to look smart for work, you might have a smart coat. Maybe that smart coat can double up for a smart coat for going out, if you're going out for dinner at a fancy restaurant, that sort of thing. And then maybe you only need one other coat, or maybe two other coats at a stretch. One that's really, really duffed up and knackered, say, for gardening, and maybe one that's not a smart coat, not completely duffed up, somewhere in the middle that, you know, that's a good coat for dog walking or picking up the kids, the grandkids from school, or going out for a walk in the park with the kids, whatever it is. But yeah, if you've got 7 winter coats, you probably don't need them. And a really helpful thing to think about, and I think the winter coats is a really good one, is, you know, there are people out there who do not have a winter coat at all, who are desperately in need of a winter coat. So if you're really struggling to part with one of your 7, I just plucked that figure from nowhere, just think about the person who may receive it and how utterly, unbelievably grateful they will be to get their hands on a coat this winter. Whether that's because you've taken a coat to a charity shop and they sell it for sort of 20 quid, you know, to someone like me who can afford 20 quid for a winter coat. Or, and this is a really, really good one to think about as well, I don't know if you have them in your area, but donation hubs. So these, they're not charity shops, it's not anyone that's going to sell your old clothes. They're going to be given away to basically folk who need them. So in my area, we've got a number of food banks that also have a small donation hub with them. So someone can go in and get some food for the week for them and their kids, but they may also have a selection of children's coats. So when someone's picking up those groceries, they can also, get a coat for their kids. We also have, a little bit further away from me, it's a bus ride, but it serves a massive area, a really, really massive donation hub. And they do everything: clothes, shoes, toys, household electrical stuff, bedding. I mean, literally all those things that most of us probably take for granted every single day. They have them there so that anyone who is without, and is, frankly, pretty desperate, can get in there and just go and get a few basics sorted out. So yeah, if you've got 7 winter coats and you think, I can't bear to be without any of them, maybe just at least get one of them. Get rid of one of them and let someone else have it who really needs it. Great. That sounded like I was sermonising a bit. I didn't mean to. I just think we could all do well to remember that when we're doing all this and we're looking at this massive stuff we've accumulated, really some people have nothing. We can share. That's great. Okay, so I need to get up. Can't get up. Right, shoes, bags in there. I'm going to stand up to do the hangers. But just on that note of, if your stuff is like, I've got a shirt here. As you're going through, let's do this standing up. I need to sort and talk. Can I multitask? Let's try. Right, time to get stuck in properly. I've got a suggestion of questions to ask ourselves, rather like we did with the books. Just stuck it there so I can see it and hopefully not forget anything. So the first question is, does it fit? I think the easiest one to answer first of all is no. Therefore, if it doesn't fit, get rid. Unless you can adjust it. If you can adjust it to make it fit, it might be that it's too big, you've lost weight, it needs taking in, it might be that it's too small. So that one I love. It's very, 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 very me, but it's so tight across the boobs. This is what I mean about the whole, where am I going to hang everything? The whole boob thing. You know what? Yeah, I'm just going to take it off the hanger, dump it there for a minute and then fold everything later. So, what doesn't fit? What doesn't fit? Now, there may be things which do fit, but they don't feel right. So this is a favourite sort of little ditzy print. Cute pie, isn't it? Little ditzy print. But it's elasticated in the waist here. Now the problem for me is because I'm tall, where this is elasticated, that ain't on my waist. It's like literally just under my bust line. And it's always bugged me. So I wear it, and then within half an hour of putting it on, I'm kind of yanking it down, trying to make it sit on my waist. It doesn't. So what I'm going to do is set this one aside. I'm not getting rid of it. I'm going to see if I can unelasticate it. That'd be great. I'll have a go. If I can't, you know what, I'm going to give it to the charity shop, because literally every time I wear it, it bugs me. And I might have it on for a bit. You've seen it on me. I've done filming in it. In fact, that's the one that I wear when I go to the bidding room, you know, that TV show, which I still haven't heard about, by the way. But yeah, the minute I've stopped filming or doing whatever it is I'm doing, I take it off, it bugs me. So if I can't get the elastic out, it's going. There's no point in having clothes that make you feel uncomfortable. This is another one, little top. It was a charity shop find. Now, I like it. The shoulders are a bit funny, but I don't know whether it's partly because, again, it's all elasticated around the bottom. So that one I'll set aside to take the elastic out. So if it doesn't fit, can you make it fit? Can you make it fit better, more comfortably? Are you confident to make your own alterations? If you're not, get rid of it. When was the last time you wore it? And if the last time you wore it, you were like, all day, get rid of it. Does it fit? No. So it can say it's a bye-bye. Now the other thing, even if it does fit, you know, do you wear it? In all honesty, do you wear it? White blouses. I don't wear them. I mean, I may have worn them once or twice. Excuse me. They've probably been bought in a slight bit of desperation of, I need some summer tops. You know, if other tops have worn out beyond repair. And because I shop at a charity shop, or charity shops, it's not like going into a regular shop where you see something you like and you pick it in your size. I have to pick whatever's in my size. That's it. There's no choice. So I think what's happened with both of these is I've grabbed them because, yay, they fit. But white, you know what? White's just not for me. I'm too messy. I'm too much of a, I'm a Tom girl. So they can go, that would be great for some, and this is the other thing, not so much with that first one because that's a little bit informal, summery, but this lovely white linen shirt, who's it by? Linen with Love, oh, it's M&S. So someone who maybe hasn't got a huge amount of money, maybe they're just starting in a job that they have to wear a white top for, and they haven't got the money to go to a regular shop. So yeah, let them have it. Great. Now, so where were we? Does it fit? No. Either get rid of it or alter it. Does it fit? Yes. Sorry, I should have said that before the white ones. Yes. So most of what fits us, we're going to think, we're going to keep that. But like with the white ones, do you wear it? If you never wear it, get rid of it. Unless it's one of those things you wear once a year, it may be your favourite Christmas jumper. Even if it's once a year and you still wear it, of course you're going to want to keep it. Does it fit but you don't wear it because it's somehow a bit uncomfy? So it needs some sort of alteration. If you're confident to do the alteration, keep it, otherwise chuck. And the thing to say about, I'm going to have this little pile for alterations. I'm going to give myself a deadline on the alterations too. My deadline is going to be the end of January. December's quite busy, So being realistic, give myself a deadline of the end of January, and if I haven't done the alterations by the end of January, you know what? I'm not going to. It's not going to happen. So that fits, I like it. That fits, I like it. That fits, I like it. This I've had forever and ever and ever. It to start with, it was the finest of fine cotton, but look, holes. This is in part, I wear this a lot in the garden, holes. There's tons of holes in here, massive hole at the bottom. Most of the holes in this top have come from my neighbour's hedge, those brambles that snagged me. I mean, it's really beyond repair, beyond it. I'm going to set that aside because I've got other ideas. We'll rattle through this and then I'm going to come to ideas about what to do with things that are maybe needing repairs or even beyond repair. So yeah, keep, wear it, wear it, wear it. So, you know, I was saying about formal, I don't really do formal, but I have got a couple of dresses in here that I keep. Love that one. Lovely autumn. Oh, and it's by one of my favourite companies. You can tell I bought this when I still had a wage. It's by, I don't know if you can see that label, Braintree. There's another maker that I like called People Tree, and they're both kind of eco kind of companies. So this is a lovely shift dress with big deep pockets. Really, really love it. And I would have bought it in the sale. You know, probably would have been about 120 quid, but I would have paid maybe 40 or 50. But it's like I often say, if you are buying new, just buy well, buy the best quality you can afford and it'll last for ages. And then that's another one, another little frock. So it's nice to have a couple of frocks because occasionally I do still like to kind of look nice. That was a shirt passed on to me. I don't like it. I kind of kept it out of politeness. Don't like it, don't like how it looks on me. It's going, it's silly to keep it. Little denim skirt, never wear it. I haven't worn it in, I can't even remember, it's going. Long grey skirt, I do wear that. That dress I wear sometimes. Yeah, summer tops. That one you've seen me wear in the garden. Oh, it's back to front. Love it. The white one, I had this for when I went to the south of France. I'm not even going to give it to charity because it's just so, it's really grubby along. It's just like a little vesty top, but it's sort of slightly elasticated. And where I've kind of sweated in it, you know, cycling up part of the Tour de France in it, my olive coloured skin has rubbed off on it. It's just made it kind of grubby. But, I don't know if you can see, it's a lovely sort of broderie anglaise. So I'm obviously going to chop it up. It will stop being a top, but I won't get rid of it completely. Good. Now, you know what I was saying a minute ago about give yourself a deadline for your repairs? They've been in there months with nothing done. This is one of my summer tops. It's been needing repairing for the longest time. I talked about it in a video. I still haven't done it. This one, it's beyond repair, but this one I want to cut up to use as a pattern to make the same style top, but, you know, obviously in new fabric with new elastics completely gone. So I'm going to take this out of the wardrobe and I'm going to put it in my sewing department. Now, because this one isn't a repair, I'm not going to set myself a deadline on when to do it, because clothes making, frankly, I have not had the time for in the last 3 or 4 years. What I'm hoping with my life now is, as I've got more organised and on top of things, obviously massive curveball this year, But as I've got on top of things, I'm hoping to make time to do some dressmaking. So I'm not giving myself a time constraint on that. Great. That one, the one that's desperately in need of repairs, I may even get to the stage where I say I'm going to chop it up and use the fabric. More of that in a second. So, right, hang on, let's move all the empty hangers out of the way. I think, hang on, there are a couple of empty hangers in here anyway, because I've got a couple of tops in the wash. Well, I think I've got one top in the wash and I've got one top on. But essentially, that's what I wear, just there. And that's a combination of a couple of frocks, a couple of summer things. I really don't have a lot of clothes to start with anyway. Now these, well, that is a jacket I do wear. I love this jacket. Fantastic charity shop find. Changed the buttons, great. But then these, I began to sort this ages ago, but I mean, can you see how tiny this is? Beautiful silk tea dress. It's gorgeous. I mean, you can see it's such fine silk, and it's got its own sort of self slip with it. Beautiful, absolutely gorgeous, from once upon a time when I was really tiny. Oh my goodness. I'm never going to fit into it again. So all the bits here, they're all, you know, they're all silk. Beautiful. Oh, and also, just in terms of selling, so this is whistles. Like I said, this is from the days when I did have money and I spent money on clothes, but I spent well. So whistles, they're expensive clothes, but it's a great kind of brand, if you like. So I'm hoping that vintage whistles stuff will sell. Look at that gorgeous little skirt. It's net, sort of embroidered net over silk underskirt. They should sell well. I have sold whistles clothes online before and they've done really well for me. So I'd already started to put clothes there to sell, keep them hung. I reckon the rest of this wardrobe is going to be taken up shortly with some of the stuff from the trunk to sell too. Right, that's done. I mean, I need to get all the bags out now. Right, let me get all the bags out and then we're going to reconvene in the living room when there's a bit more space. Whew, good start. Just perching on the bed a second before we dive into shoes and bags. And that's going to be enough for today. I'm going to tackle the side section in another video. This, kind of like the books in a way, has been a little bit wordy than I intended. But what I'm trying to do is just sort of suggest ways to think as you're doing it and sort of questions to ask yourself as you're doing it. So hopefully the next couple of wardrobe department clutter bustings will be a bit more getting on and a bit less chat. So just before we go on to the shoes and bags, I was just referring a second ago to, you know, items like that blue shirt of mine that is really beyond repair. It's absolutely no good for a charity shop. It's no good for a donation hub. And please don't think about passing things like that onto a donation hub. How insulting is that to someone? Just because someone is poor and in desperate need, it doesn't mean they have to take rags. I'm sure none of you would do that anyway. I'm absolutely sure of that. So let's say an item is absolutely beyond repair, has had it. And I think this is especially true maybe if it's a really sentimental item, perhaps again it's something from a deceased relative. Think about cutting the item up and saving parts of the fabric to then put into something else, like a little patchwork. I know, I mean, I've done a couple for friends already of just sort of small patchwork cushions made up using fabrics from their, you know, for instance, their granddad. I did one that was for a friend that was her granddad, using lots of bits of his old shirts for her child. I'm trying to remember the timing. I think her granddad knew she was pregnant, but I don't think the baby had arrived before her granddad died. So this cushion was for her baby, to just sort of connect those generations that never met. So that's a really nice idea, especially for, you know, pieces that are sentimental, that do have meaning. If it's pieces that aren't sentimental and don't have meaning, you know, think about cutting them up to make cleaning rags. There are some, like that pink cotton shirt I was showing a second ago, I will cut that up and use it as a pattern. In other words, I will open up all the seams and use it as a future pattern. If I wasn't doing that, that cotton is so soft because it's been worn and worn and washed and washed. That would be lovely for a handkerchief because it's so soft. If you're not fancying doing any of that with what you've got, if you're not really, you know, this wouldn't make sense if you're not a sewer. Let's say you are a sewer, but you don't need to keep any of the fabric, or you've kept the best bits of the fabric you can. Think also about rescuing the zip, rescuing any buttons from that item. So for instance, let's say you're going to turn that item into just cleaning rags. Rescue the buttons and rescue the zip. Don't put them in landfill. I've got 2 charity shops around here that do haberdashery bits, so zips, buttons, etc. So even if you don't need to hold on to those buttons yourself, if you think, I'm not ever going to use these buttons or this zip, whip them out anyway and then offer them to your charity shop if they have a haberdashery section. Or maybe if you've got enough, they can start a haberdashery section. Buttons, brand new these days. Actually, the last time I bought any buttons was for that jacket, and they're about £1.20 each, I seem to remember. My charity shop, it does buttons for 10p. Brilliant. So yeah, salvage what you can, keep using what you can, even if it's as a cleaning rag, and just think of binning things as the absolute last resort. We don't want to be using our landfill, do we? Right. And the other thing, I know it's bed linen rather than clothes, but sheets, I'm sure you can tell I was brought up by, you know, this is the nan in me, my nana in me. When the sheets become worn in the middle, cut them down the middle, get the 2 side sections, bring them into the middle, sew it up again, you got a usable sheet again, because all the bits that get tucked underneath the mattress, they get no wear, do they? The wear is in the middle. If they're beyond keeping as a sheet, maybe you can downsize them and they can then become a pillowcase. If there's not enough to make a pillowcase, maybe a handkerchief, you know, and if not a handkerchief, a little cleaning rag. Even, because the thing about cotton I'm talking about, especially now, is when it's been washed and washed and worn, it gets so beautifully soft. You could even think about keeping small bits of cotton, perhaps give them a quick bit of a hemming so they don't fray every time you wash them, but use them for face wipes, for, you know, makeup removal, face wiping. Get yourself a little drawstring bag, hang it somewhere in the bathroom, do that, chuck them in your little drawstring bag, and then when there's enough in there, chuck that in with all the ordinary washing. Brilliant. A bit of upcycling, a bit of keeping things in use, a bit less stuff to go out and buy. Yay! All right, the shoes are looking at me. Come on, let's make some decisions. Okay, I need to rattle through this because I realise otherwise this video is going to be a really, really long one. So we're going to finish on shoes, do the bags in the next video. Right, this is all the shoes I own and the ones that are on my feet, and I've got a pair of gardening shoes too, which are dying. Nobody needs this many pairs of shoes. So I'm going to start with, I'm going to look at, like I said, I've already gotten rid of all my glamour stuff, my high heels, brilliant. But really I am struggling in even the slightest bit of a heel these days. So you can see my propensity for a good old-fashioned brogue. Oh, I do love a brogue. Gorgeous. But even with that small heel these days, I just struggle. So what I'm thinking is I've got a tan brogue with a heel, a tan flat brogue, a black brogue with a heel, a flat black brogue. So I can immediately say, you know what? The ones that have got the slight heel, get rid of them. They're a really good make, office, they were expensive, I've kept, I've looked after them well, I hardly really worn them. Those I think I can sell. So, good stuff, selling pile. Good, whittled it down a bit. Heels, again, those are heeled espadrilles. I'm never going to wear those again. They're my little, a summer's day in Paris, pootling around in one of my glam frocks. I think they're too, I'm not sure, I think they might be a bit too for even a charity shop. But what I might do, they've got a good sole on them still. It's just that they've gotten a bit grubby. So I might see if I can clean them. If I can clean them, then go to a charity shop. Separate pile for charity. Those sandals I do wear in the summer, great. So I've got a pair of summer shoes or sandals. I've got some winter shoes, great. Trainers I live in, they're not going anywhere. They're my little Converse bumpers, Christmas present a few years ago. I wear them a lot, they're not going anywhere. More flat shoes. These are nice for the summer, just a bit more open. Well, they're not quite brogues, but again, they're so cute. They're not really picking up on camera, but they're just an adorable. Oh, Cable. Are Cable and Co still going? They're from about, I probably had those about 30 years. I do look after my shoes and I resole them and I re-heel them. Now, these two, they've only got little heels. But I'm thinking, can I wear a heel? The thing is, I adore both of these. And they're not good enough to sell, they're a bit beat up. They're not really good enough for charity. I might just keep them because they're good enough for me. Just in case, maybe after knee surgery I'll fancy a little tiny bit of a heel again. And they're both nice with, these especially with a summer dress. So they can stay, they're not taking up too much room. Espadrilles. I don't go on the beach anymore. They can go. Now these, this is what I was kind of laughing at. Let me come round a bit. These are my jelly swimming shoes. This is for, if you're doing a bit of wild swimming and it's a really rocky entry to the water. These are great. And I haven't given up on the idea of me ever wild swimming again, so I'm keeping them. Again, they squash up pretty small. They're not taking up any room. And yeah, I think there is a possibility that one day I will wild swim again. Actually, it's not even a pot. That's more to do with, I don't have holidays and trips and things like that anymore. But what's to stop me getting on the train, going off on a little train ride to somewhere and having a wild swim? Okay, good. So what's that? I've got rid of 4 pairs. I'm left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm left with 10 pairs. I could probably get it down to 8. But my shelving in there, I've got shelving for 12. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Good stuff. See, I am quite a good decision maker. I was mentioning that the other day, wasn't I? I'm quite able to say, you know what, yeah, let it go. But likewise with those couple of little beat up ones with the slight heel, you know what, they're not going to be in the way. I'll keep them. You never know. One day I may put a little bit of a heel on again. Brilliant. That feels like a good start. I've got my little pile here. I can start to bag things up for charity. The couple of pairs of shoes that I'll try to sell, I'm developing a to sell pile. Charity pile, to sell pile. what's it called? Alterations pile, those bits of elastic. Double check to see if things need cleaning before I take them to the charity shop. The clothes don't. I wouldn't put clothes in the cupboard if they were dirty. Now, the other thing to bear in mind, just very quickly, and then I will wrap up, because I honestly thought these videos would be like 10 minutes long. There's lots to talk about and think about, though, though I can't even speak, isn't there? Bear in mind, if you've been living in a bit of mess for a while, and there's all this clutter, and you think, right, I want to tackle it, I need to get this done once and for all, bear in mind that you're probably going to make more mess by doing it initially. So don't, if you're pulling things out of cupboards and if the room is the room today looks really chaotic again, but it's just where I've pulled things out of the cupboards. Once I start to put back things that I'm keeping, fold up and put in a pile for charity, that it will start to get clearer. So if you're starting to do this and you're a bit aghast at suddenly you've lost your dining room table again because there's loads more stuff on it again, just remember that a lot of those piles, that's you getting ready to take things to the charity shop. Some things will be throwaway. If you live quite near the charity shop or your donation hub, wherever it is you're getting rid of your stuff to, it might be worth, if you're doing this, if you're doing one weekend a day on this kind of thing, is do your sort, save your books. Once it's done, before you tackle the next thing, the books you've set aside to get rid of, do it. Do it now, get rid of them, they're gone. Clear a bit of space so you can empty the next cupboard, whether it's clothes or shoes or whatever it is. But yeah, don't worry if you're creating more mess now. You're creating more mess in order to reduce the mess eventually. Have faith in the process. All right, lovelies, I will see you for another one really soon. When I do that kind of the shelving section of the wardrobe, and I know because it's really deep, that in places where I've got my stuff at the front that I use all the time, behind, there are places where I've just remembered something. I was going to say I've forgotten what I've got in the back ends, just thinking about my wild swimming shoes. I've got my wild swimming costumes, proper swimming costumes, but in the back of there somewhere I have bikinis. Bikinis! I haven't worn a bikini for 15 years, for goodness sakes. Little tiny, teeny, tiny, skimpy Brazilian bikinis that don't even cover one bum cheek, never mind both. They're going. I'll see you for that one soon. Bye for now, everyone, and good luck sorting and clearing. You can do it. Let's do it together. Let's keep doing it together. Have a crack into one part of your wardrobe today, and then by the next time we meet up, we can crack into another part of our wardrobes. See you then. Cheerio.